Okay, so these beans have soaked overnight, about 24 hours, and they are nice and plump. They've at least doubled in size. So now I'm going to go ahead, put these in a pot of water, bring it to a boil, and then simmer them until they're cooked. And I'm just going to use simple chili seasoning and salt and pepper. I got the chili seasoning at Dollar Tree. Let me show you what it looks like. I think I've got it right here. So I'll be using this chili powder and just salt and pepper to taste. All right, so I've got the beans boiling. I've just turned them down to simmer, and they'll start simmering here in a bit. I've added about 3 tablespoons of this a chili powder from Dollar Tree. I think I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to go for maybe another 3 tablespoons or so. I like my chili heavy on the chili powder. I like it very thick and dark red. So I think that I think that ought to be enough. When I'm done with these beans, and they're pretty much close to being finished, that's when I'm going to add the can of diced tomatoes and green chilies. So we're going to go ahead and let those cook for, I don't know, at least a couple hours, and we'll come back and okay, so here we are. Our beans are done. I had to go out, so they've cooled. I'm going to go ahead and put my can of the Rotel diced tomatoes and green chilies in here, and just give this a little bit of a stir. Going to incorporate the vegetables into the beans. Oops. And I'm just going to stir this up a little bit, and I'm going to set it to the side, because when my cornbread, right before the cornbread gets done, I'm going to set this back on the heat and heat it up. So the beans are now finished and looking lovely. I wanted to show you guys this. I found this muffin tin, I guess it is. Well, it's not a tin. It's made of cast iron. It probably weighs 4 or 5 pounds. It's really heavy. And, you know, with this little amount of cornbread that you get from one of these, Dollar Tree or 99-cent store cornbread mixes, you don't end up with a whole lot. So I'm figuring it's going to make 5 or 6 corn muffins. So what I'm going to do, what you see down in there is about a ½ teaspoon of bacon grease. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the oven and let that heat up real well and melt. And once that's done, I'm going to come back. I'm going to pour that's just going to take a few minutes. Then I'm going to go ahead and pour this in and bake it. And we will come back and take a look at those luscious corn muffins. This just came out of the oven. It is nice and hot and ready to pour the corn muffin mix in. So let's go ahead and do that. I use my my Pyrex measuring cup as my mixing bowl. It just made sense with such a small amount of stuff. So let's see here. Okay, about like that. And I may have extra that has to go in a couple of the other sections, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I can fill up another cupful. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put some more bacon grease in here, just mix it around a bit, fill that up, and then it's going back in the oven. It bakes at 400 for 20 to 25 minutes. Now, while the corn muffins are cooking, I'm going to show you something else you can do. You can easily just serve these beans right over the corn muffins, and that would be wonderful. But you know how I am. I like to add a little bit of green to what we eat. So what I'm going to make here are I'm going to make some wilted greens. That's bacon grease right there. Get that melted and get the pan hot on a medium heat. Now, once that is pretty darn hot, and it's going to be quickly, I'm going to go ahead and put a few handfuls of spinach. I'm happening to use spinach now. You could use anything, any kind of green you have. Collards, turnips, spinach, cabbage, whatever floats your boat. Go ahead and melt and wilt it in some hot bacon grease, or you could use coconut oil or butter if you want. But if you want this to taste authentic, you need to use bacon grease. That's just the way it is. So there we go. Got some spinach in there. And this stuff generally wilts up pretty quickly once you get it in the hot pan. I keep moving my camera, sorry. And I normally just stay right with it and move the greens around. And you'll notice them start to darken in color. And what you want to do here is, you're not going for cooking them down real hard. I mean, spinach is so tender, you barely need to cook it. I mean, it's not like kale and some of that other stuff that really, if you want it tender, it requires some cooking. This stuff is just going to wilt down real quick. See, it's about halfway there already. I remember this meal from my grandmother, my mom's mother. She was from Oklahoma. And this was a very common meal that she would make for her family. My mom said they pretty much lived on beans, cornbread, and whatever green thing was growing out back. So this is a tribute to my mama and her family. All right, so that's pretty darn near done. I don't think that needs to go any longer at all. So I'm going to take it off the fire. And I'm just going to let it rest over here. Now, another thing my mom used to do is she'd add a little bit of vinegar to that. So I'm going to go ahead and snag some vinegar out of my cupboard right here. And I'm going to use balsamic, but you could use red wine vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar. Any flavored vinegar will do. I'm going to use a little balsamic. So here we go. Not much, just a little to taste. And I'm just going to kind of let this sit around and steep in its own juices while the corn muffins are a-making. Turn on the oven light. Take a peek at the corn muffins. See how we're doing down there. Oh, looking good. Alrighty, so when this is finished, I'm going to plate it up and we will take it into Grant to see what he thinks. Oh my peeps, look at these beautiful corn muffins. They pop right out of the pan. They're just wonderful. I ended up getting 7 out of that little container of mix. I've already pulled 2 of them out and put them in Grant's dish. They've been cut in half. If you want to, you can put butter on them at this point, but I figured that with all the bacon grease that went into this, the last thing we need is more, more grease. I mean, there's plenty of butter, and plenty of oil in one way or another in these. Grant is a long, lean drink of water, and he works hard, so he needs, he needs a pretty good amount of calories at the end of the day. So, here we go. He's also heavily into saturated fat. He believes that saturated fat is good for him. I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever makes him happy. He's 67 and acts like he's 37, so he must be doing something right. Anyhow, so there we go. There are the greens. Now I'm going to top that with first I want to show you a little trick before I serve these out. What I did is I added just a little bit of Vermont maple syrup. This came as a gift from my dear friend Cynthia from her home state of Vermont. That's one of the little tricks you can do. You can add a little maple syrup, which I think is the best, or honey, or Splenda, if you're having trouble with sugar, or sugar for that matter. Whatever. agave, something to sweeten it up a little bit. So, here we go. Here is Grant's dinner, and we are going to take it to him. Are you willing to take just a minute away from your phone call and taste this? And it's just
you take care, guy.
Well, you don't have to hang up, sweetie. I just need your. Here you go. And this should be mouth temperature. It shouldn't be too hot.
Oh, great.
The beans have been sitting for a while. See what you think.
This looks great.
Try to get a little bit of green and
See that?
a little bit of everything in there. I'm telling him, I'm micromanaging his dinner.
Oh, like I don't know how to eat. One of these days I'll learn how to eat. I'm going to learn how to tie my shoes, too.
Well, you could give lessons on shoe tying. We know that.
Wow.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Does it taste authentically Southern?
For sure.
It should, yeah. Okay.
I've lived in Georgia and Alabama.
So he knows. How funny. Okay, there you go, you guys. Another winner. Although I'm not eating this because I am currently detoxing. I'm also tripping over dog toys. I'm detoxing off of sugar, so I'm not going to eat all that sugary stuff right now. I will tell you that this is one of my favorite meals. I did taste the beans. They're marvelous. I haven't tasted the greens, but I think I'm going to make some for myself for later. And then, of course, I know that those little corn muffins are good. So, there we go. Another $3 Dollar Tree meal with the addition of some greens if you have them lying around. Talk to you guys later. Bye.